Hello, everybody, and welcome to Early Access Podcast, episode 90. It's your host, Angelo, as usual, and thank you for hopefully finding the show again. So over the last week or so, there's been a lot of changes. If you don't follow or subscribe on YouTube, Early Access Podcast on YouTube, so I was having a lot of trouble with my host for the website and for the podcast and everything, so I wasn't able to upload the last couple of episodes. It's actually been kind of annoying. Because there was really nothing I could do, because according to Bluehost, they were being DDoS'd. So something that I've been meaning to do, which is actually, it's a good thing, but it's also going to it's also going to be kind of shitty, because I'm not going to be able to upload previous episodes for the time being, because it's a little bit pricey to put up the back catalog. I'll try to get them up as I can, since I have only a certain amount of limit. 4 uploads per month, but I switched the show over to Libsyn. So what that means going forward is that the show is going to start focusing, not the show, but the podcast is going to be the main focus. So it's the websites have kind of, over the last year, it started off pretty strong with writing articles and stuff like that, but it seems like I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I kind of burnt myself out, and it just kind of hasn't been worth keeping up with that aspect of the whole thing. So within the next couple weeks, those are going to be coming offline. You can still go to earlyaccesspodcast.com. It's going to redirect you to the Libsyn site. I'll probably either that, or I'm going to just set up just a WordPress blog and use that as a go-to for that kind of stuff. But the show's going to stay the same. It's still going to be twice a week. It's still going to be the same stuff. But instead of doing articles and written reviews, I'm just going to start focusing on trying to stream more often and just getting more first looks up. Ever since September or so, when everything slowed down, it's been kind of hard to just keep myself motivated. I still enjoy doing the show, but it's just trying to get all the videos and stuff like that up for first looks and stuff. It's kind of hard when there's no games coming out. Or there has been a few games, but it's nothing that's really that interesting. But hopefully going forward with Libsyn, though, I won't have any more hiccups like this where, I'm going to lose something. Libsyn's a big podcasting platform, and hopefully it gets actually the show a little bit more exposure just because of how big they are. And it's the best way to upload stuff. So all the content will be cataloged, and it'll be there forever. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I don't have to worry about limits and all that stuff. So if the show ever gets incredibly popular, or at least way more popular, then I don't have to worry about switching at that point. So at least this way, going forward, we will have a place for all of that. So just going forward, just keep that in mind. So the website's going to just redirect here, or just check out the YouTube channel for new content. It's just going to be less written stuff. That's basically really it. There's really no reason to maintain 2 separate websites when they both lead to the same stuff. I was basically double posting the podcast. I was using the podcast URL just to upload the podcast, and then I was using the Early Access Media domain for articles and stuff like that. But if I'm not posting articles, there's really no point, and embedding the videos there has no point either, because there's the YouTube channel. So there's cheaper alternatives out there for what I was trying to accomplish with the sites, and there's really no reason for me to be paying for both of those. So I will be renewing earlyaccesspodcast.com. It'll probably continue to be some sort of blog site or something similar. Earlyaccessmedia.com is probably going to go by the wayside. I might keep the domain and just have them all funnel to the same thing for now. It's not it's not expensive, but paying for the hosting is kind of irrelevant at this point, considering YouTube hosts the videos for free, and now I'm paying for Libsyn, which will be for the podcast. So no more double posting on my end, or quadruple posting. I had something else to say. Now I'm drawing a blank. So basically, what that means is, I don't even know. I'm going crazy. So yeah, Libsyn though. Libsyn's gonna be great for the show. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you subscribe to the podcast as well, just make sure you go refresh it so it redirects you and updates your your podcast feed, because it's only going to work until that hosting goes down. So until the 7th, I think it is, of February. So if you don't update it, you're going to have to resubscribe. It's not a big deal. Oh, that was the other thing. That's what I remember. Bing. Need a light bulb. So once the hosting goes down, the old email addresses aren't going to work. So email at earlyaccesspodcast.com is no longer going to work. So I just made a new email for the show. It's earlyaccesspodcast at gmail.com. Pretty simple. So if you email me there, if you want to request interviews, if you're trying to get in touch with me to take a look at your game, I'm still going to be doing first looks and stuff like that. So earlyaccesspodcast at gmail.com is the new email address for all that stuff. So go check that out. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter, earlyaccesspc on Twitter, to keep up to date with what's going on. So I haven't really been playing much. The new Diablo 3 patch came out. I've been playing a lot of that. Actually, I never actually looked at what the new stuff was for that. So we're going to do that real quick here. So it's patch 2.4. It's season 5. Just went live. So as with all seasons in Diablo 3, if you've been playing along over the last few years, since they introduced seasons, so it's basically its own mode. You restart everything. You get to start a new character. It's a good way to get people back into the game, and I tend to put in a lot of time. If you've been listening to the show over the last year, I tend to bring it up every time it comes up, just because Diablo has finally become the game that we all wanted it to over the last couple years. They've done a lot of work to it. So every season they add, special transmog gear, and they add different achievements and stuff like that. So it's a good time to get back into the game. Just play your ass off. They usually add a bunch of stuff. Let's see. They added a new zone, which I haven't seen yet. So there's a new zone. There's new enemies. Looks like repaints of some of the old enemies. Endless exploration in the adventure mode. That's nothing new. Or is it new? No, it's just talking about the new zone called Grey Hollow, which looks like a swampland. That's like a busted out ship. It looks really. I love the game. It's just a lot of fun. I started is it a wizard in this one? Yeah, a wizard in this one. Does it have anything else? It's on the PTR. That was 11/11. Oh wow, this has been in the public test realm for over a month. So yeah, patch 2.4, season 5. It's just started. So go check out season 5 if you play Diablo 3. It's totally worth your time. Other than that, the other game I've been playing is MechWarrior Online. So I actually talked about playing this a few weeks back because it popped up onto Steam as a free-to-play game, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a hard game if you don't play these kinds of games like the mech games, where you have to control your upper and lower body independently because the torso rotates like a tank. So think of it as like the turret on the top of the tank that moves by itself, and then the tracks, the bottom part of the tank, drives in whatever direction it's pointing. So you constantly have to realign yourself. It's a very challenging game. It's a lot of fun. It's a thinking man's first-person shooter. So you actually have to pay attention. It's not run and gun. You're not going to be just running around just blowing people away. And the customization is amazing. I've probably put 20 hours into it so far, and I've enjoyed every match that I've played, even if I'm getting my ass kicked in some of them, but some of them I do pretty well. They rotate out the mechs that you can use, kind of like a MOBA does, where you don't have to, it's going to be different I think it's every week they rotate new mechs in so you can try them. You earn credits pretty quickly, though, so you can buy your own mechs fairly quickly. I think I bought my first one after a few matches playing through the tutorial. You get enough money to pick out, one of the cheaper mechs And then I've also like bought a bunch of different, just different weapons for it, different loadout stuff. It's pretty crazy how open this is for a free to play game. I have really no idea if it's pay to win. I never really felt that way because of the way that the matchmaking is made. It's not going to put a bunch of high like heavy damage mechs with a bunch of low damage mechs. It's kind of like an even split on both sides. So even if you were paying to win and you had like a super powerful mech, it's not going to put like an entire team of those those kind of mechs together. So it's pretty balanced in just the way the matchmaking works. If you like very min-maxy, slow-paced kind of shooters, this is great. It's like one of my like favorite iterations of the MechWarrior game. It seems like the stuff that you can buy with real money. If you go and look at the store on the website, you can buy premium packages for different mechs. So you'll get like it doesn't. I don't know how much any of this stuff costs. It doesn't really say. So you buy in-game currency. So here you go. You get, this is your price per chassis, $55. So if you buy, so you can buy entire chunks of the game, so you can buy like the entire chassis set. So it'll tell you. It gets pretty expensive though if you want to buy like the entire thing. The most expensive thing is like $240. It gives you 90 days in premium time though. It gives you a bunch of like add-on stuff that you can decorate the inside of your mech. Like you can put like there's like an air freshener that you hang over on one monitor, and you can put something on some other monitor. But they did a really good job with this. They made it very accessible for players that have never played before. The tutorial's very in-depth. It gives you all you need to know to jump in and learn how to play the game. But it's got a lot of depth here. I hope it continues in the way that it is, and a lot of people continue playing it. It has been out for quite a while, though, and I think it came out in like 2012, I believe, by the copyright. But they're still adding new stuff, and it seems like it's gotten new life ever since it's been added to Steam not too long ago. So, highly recommend checking out MechWarrior Online. It's been occupying a lot of my time, and I haven't put a dime into it yet. So go check that out. As for new games, so there's been a couple games since the last episode. So I just grabbed 2 early access games. If you didn't listen, you didn't listen because I didn't put up a goddamn podcast because I couldn't. If you go to YouTube, I did put up like a little video explaining quickly what was going on. So if you wanted to check out anything that came out since the last episode, so about a week ago, you can go check that out. It's just, I think it's labeled just like what's going on or something like that. It's the most recent video. So the first game I pulled for you guys is called No Turning Back. It's the pixel art action adventure roguelike. So it's got 11 reviews, 81% positive. It's $5.39, 10% off until January 22nd, so it's usually $6. And it's a little top-down dungeon crawling roguelike game. It looks pretty neat. But it looks neat, but it kind of looks like shitty. It's that art style. I'm sure it's fine for $5 or so. It really depends on if you run into anything that's kind of just broken. I tend to find some of these kinds of games you just run into stuff where it's like can't open doors, you can't walk through certain things, and it's just kind of off-putting for these kind of games. And it really depends on what you're getting for your $5 in an early access game. I'm all for supporting indie developers. Hopefully, this has enough content here to make it worth your while. So, this guy wrote a ridiculously long block word. I hate that. People that write reviews that are just like one solid brick of text. There's a space bar and an enter key, and you can format your reviews in Steam a little bit better. Trust me, I know. I've been doing it for the last year. So the next game is called Crowman and Wolfboy. This game actually looks really cool. It's a black and white art style. The only thing that's off-putting about this is that it's also a iOS game. So it's only got one review and it's positive. It is $4. So from I went to the website, and it looks like you can pick this up and play it on other, like on mobile devices and stuff. But hopefully that doesn't take too much away from that, because there has been quite a few iOS games and Android games that have come to Steam that have actually played pretty well on the computer. So this is like a side-scrolling platformer. It's like a free runner. It says it's an action platformer / runner hybrid. So it looks like a combination of like Super Meat Boy, not even Super Meat Boy. It's not. I don't think it seems that precision based. But it's that kind of game. So you're running, you're jumping, you're climbing things. You're trying to get to the end of the level. It's got a really interesting art style for this kind of game, especially for something that looks like it was basically a mobile game. So like I said, it's a black and white style game, kind of like Limbo, where the characters are black shadows, and then everything else is like that, to add depth. There is some color, it looks like, from watching the trailer. As long as it's challenging, then it's totally worth your $4. Being in early access, though, it's kind of confusing to me, just because if it already exists on iOS and whatnot. So let me click and visit the website real quick. So yeah, it says you can download it on the App Store and Android. I can't imagine that it's in early access on the Android, and it looks like it's free. It looks like it's free on Android on Google Play. And let's see, how much is it on the Apple Store? And on the App Store, it's also $4. So at least they're consistent with the price, and they believe in what they're doing. And it's got a couple positive reviews on the... Actually, this current version has 3.5 stars with 30 ratings. All versions have 4 stars with 176 ratings, and it's out of a 4-star system. So it's actually doing pretty well on iOS. So that's cool. So go check it out. It looks really interesting, and if it holds up, then maybe it's worth supporting them trying to port it to Steam. I'm assuming that's what why it's in early access. Maybe they're just trying to work out, maybe the controls, since it's been played on a touchscreen device. So maybe they're trying to figure out the right way to do the controls and whatnot. I really don't know. I'm not this developer, but you can go check that out. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I want to thank you for sticking with me over the last couple weeks. Hopefully, now that everything's moved to Libsyn, the podcast won't be interrupted again, and we can continue forward with everything that's been going on. Come check out the live streams. I'm going to be doing an hour Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to try from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do about an hour a day. I might jump on a little bit earlier, but if you go to youtube.com/earlyaccesspodcast and subscribe, it'll let you know whenever I end up going live. If you are making a game, you're a developer, you're a publisher, whatnot, and you want to get in touch with me, you want me to take a look at the game, you want me to do a first look, earlyaccesspodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking to do an interview, I would love to start doing interviews this year going forward. So same thing, earlyaccesspodcast@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with me there. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Again, thank you for sticking around. Go sub to the YouTube channel. Follow on Twitter, earlyaccesspc.com. Go use the Amazon banner while it's still up. I'll probably put it somewhere. I'll link it somewhere after all this. But until next time, guys, it's Angelo with Early Access Podcasts, and be awesome.